Welcome to the Small Business Consortium Business Development and Growth online event. My name is Marlon Smith, and on behalf of Commissioner Velma Leaks Small Business Consortium and our team, we say welcome because you're in the right place at the right time. Today, oh my goodness, you are in for a treat. We have four phenomenal presenters, four individuals who are leaders in their own capacity. And so I'm talking about Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart is I just really enjoy him. He's the business concierge for the Mecklenburg County, and just a phenomenal. You see that there is his picture, and what he does is he goes and he speaks to various individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs. He schedules these one-on-one. So you're in for a real treat because he helps businesses from startup to those multi-million dollar business take it to the next level. And so that's exciting. And then from there, you're going to hear also from Lisa Wilson. Lisa Wilson is with the North Carolina Office of Civil Rights, North Carolina Department of Transportation BAL unit, the Business Opportunity and Workforce Development. And Lisa is amazing because she and her team are really all about helping more businesses obtain contracts, and they have training programs and so on and so forth. And then also we have Stephen Coker. Stephen, I really appreciate because Stephen is the leader of the City of Charlotte's Business Inclusion program. He's the program manager, and he is really phenomenal from his passion. And I have had the opportunity to meet with he and his team, and they are really doing some great things. And then last but certainly not least, Dr. Inga. Dr. Inga is a lady who is on a mission, a global mission at that. And she's going to be talking to us about, business funding and different sources of raising capital for your business. And so I'm excited about that. But again, I want to say thank you. The Small Business Consortium is the brainchild of County Commissioner Velma Leaks. And this was back in 2010. She got some business owners together for a round table, and they shared their concerns, they shared their needs. And in 2012 was the birth of the Small Business Consortium. And now it's grown to hundreds of business owners. And we were meeting in person, but now what's happened is we are actually doing a lot of virtual events. But we're hoping that in 2022 we can come back in person and really connect, because there's nothing like in person, face to face. And as you know, County Commissioner Velma Leak is amazing because you can feel her heart, her passion. And so with that being said, I'm very excited. I'm going to turn it over to Steve. No, we're going to go first. We're going to go Mark Stewart, okay, from the county, Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development. And before we do, I want to ask you this question. What is this? What is this? Type in the chat box. What do you think this is? It's not a trick question. I know some of you might be thinking, I don't know. Is it a trick question? No, it's not a trick question. What is this? Type in the chat box what this is. You know what it is. Come on. I know it's early, but I also know that, hey, we can, have some fun. So this, my friend, is an apple. That's right. It's an apple. Now, here's the real question. If I was to squeeze this apple over a glass, what type of juice would I get? Not a trick question. You know the answer. Apple juice. Now, let's just say I have an orange, in another hand, and I peel the orange, I squeeze it over another glass. What type of juice will I get? That's right, orange juice. So the question is, from this apple, can I get orange juice? No. And from that orange, can I get apple juice? No. So what I want you to understand is that you're in the right place at the right time. You can't give what you do not have. The first step to leadership is self-leadership. And that's why this program, the Business Development and Growth, we're going to be sharing some insights and some words of wisdom. And so I'm really grateful to have Mark Stewart kick it off because he's representing the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development. As I said, he's a business concierge and he's just phenomenal. And I want you to understand that he's going to share some insights with us for your business growing, developing, so that it can really maximize its potential. So, Mark, really happy to have you on. How are you doing today, my friend?
Outstanding today. Outstanding.
Outstanding. And so that's great, Mark. So, let's have a conversation. I would love for you to talk to us about what is it, Mark, when it comes down to you've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of business owners. And so my question to you is, first of all, tell us what the Office of Economic Development, the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development, is doing to make a difference for aspiring entrepreneurs as well as business owners. Would you be so kind to share a little bit more about your mission?
I'll tell you this: you're going to be amazed what the county office of economic development is doing. The office has grown exponentially. Our staff was initially me, Fred, our director Peter Zeiler, and Gretchen, and then our administrative assistant. We now have added a total team now of 13 people. Now, some of the issues of the the economic development challenges in Mecklenburg County, that being some of the businesses challenges, that being diversity and inclusion, um, contracting opportunities, things of that nature. So when Mecklenburg County conducted the analysis of the environment of the whole contracting experience with Mecklenburg County, one of the things was having a diversity team of people who would be responsible for making sure compliance was being conducted with all Mecklenburg County contracts and things of that nature. So we now have literally put 3 people in place to do that in the office. Um, the next thing is that our office is so squeezed so tight because we have so many people in the office now, and we're a very tight team of individuals working together to serve the business community in Mecklenburg County. So you're going to see a lot of things happening with the office, a lot of things that were may have been challenges for other businesses to get contracting opportunities and things of that nature. You may see more opportunities popping open because of the policies that are being recommended to the commissioners. Because what happens is, as findings happen, as things happen throughout the office, so does opportunity happen. So there's a lot of growth going with it. Me and Fred, we're now teamed together in the same office, literally in the same office. We were offices next door to one another, but now we're sharing the same space, which works out great because what happens is, as Fred and I are working with a lot of clientele, as you hear, Fred's the money man, but there's an avenue that you have to go through in order to get the funds to qualify for the fund. So me and Fred work together to help the businesses of Mecklenburg County and entrepreneurs to navigate some of the complexities that they may have themselves as far as developing a business plan, developing a strategy for funding repayment, understanding their business, understanding the challenges of marketing, understanding the challenges, just how to be a better entrepreneur so that you can grow your business. I spoke about capacity several weeks ago. And capacity, a lot of people think it's about money and it's about understanding what your business is about, but it's a lot more. Capacity is about the biggest thing is knowledge. In this series, we talk about growth. And I broke it down to this: the G is get, the R is reach, the O is opportunity, the W is wealth. Wealth, not in the sense of money, but in the sense of wisdom. The T is truth. And the biggest piece that I have challenges with entrepreneurs and many entrepreneurs I worked with is hearing, because hearing leads to action. So, with that spelling of it, you have growth. So, with the Office of Economic Development in Mecklenburg County, that's what we strive to do for entrepreneurs.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, that's really awesome. And I love that acronym. I love the fact that you're talking about how we can take it to the next level. Let me ask you, Mark, these are some interesting times. And we're coming, post COVID, we're still not all the way through the forest with that. And so when we're talking about business development and growth, in this new climate, is new. I just saw a study where they're talking about a lot of individuals are choosing to um, what we say resign, from their jobs. I mean, I'm sure you're abreast of that as well. And now you also have the fact of, there's a lot of still some uncertainty. So when we talk about business development, business growth, what are there any success stories that you can share with us, as far as working with the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development? I'm asking that because I know we have a lot of business owners watching right now, and they may be saying, okay, how do I fit in? What are the best ways that I can engage with the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development? Would you please share?
The first piece is, as a business owner, having a plan. Just simply saying, I want to do and open my own business. I'll give you this. Since the pandemic, my percent of entrepreneurs coming to me has hit 37% increase. Nationally, the increase is 32%. So we're hitting 37%, reaching, I'd say by the end of the year, it'll probably be about 41% increase in entrepreneurship. Um, Now, will many of them fail? It all depends on the determination, the planning, the understanding of what resources they have available to themselves. The state of North Carolina has, now, I've lived in multiple states, and I lived in some states that are pretty strong business wise. But the state of North Carolina has more resources for entrepreneurs than I've ever seen of any state. The resources are phenomenal, but understanding what they do, what they mean, how they can help your business to grow, to help your business to strive. I mean, you look at the city of Charlotte, you look at Mecklenburg County, you look at the SBTDC, the Small Business Center Network, the Women Business Center, the Chambers of Commerce, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, Charlotte Business Inclusion. There's just a lot of things that are out there, but understanding what they mean and how they can help your business grow, you got to understand that you have to have a strategy on how you want those resources to help you to grow your business and how you want your business to look from one step to the next step. Now, we talk about business plans, but we don't talk about strategic plans within those business plans. There's 7 steps in a business plan. We talk about the executive summary, we talk about the marketing plan, but a marketing plan, you got to have a strategic strategy for that marketing plan. Finances, you got to have a strategic plan how to use those funds and how to use that resource. Because the one thing about money, when it's spent. But the key thing is your return on investment and understanding what's the best solution for that entrepreneur to use that resource, and then understanding what it means to have that capacity of knowledge, to have that capacity of resource, have that capacity of determination, and to make it the best result for your business so that you can grow it forward. Because remember, this series is about growth. And if you can get real with the understanding of your growth, hearing what you have to do, having truth put to it. Marlon used an example of you squeeze an apple, what juice do you get out of it? You squeeze an orange, what juice you get out of it? But the key of that discussion was simply about truth. An apple is an apple, an orange is an orange. What you squeeze is the truth. So understanding what your resources are, understanding what truth you have in yourself. What's the true nature of your business? When you look at this pandemic, many businesses have failed because they failed to plan. They failed to look at the truth of the business, to look at, for example, the relationships with your vendors. If your vendor fails, does your business fail? If you were applying for the assistance that the federal government was providing, did I have all the proper documentation to get the funding quickly? And if I didn't have the proper documentation or I didn't have proper systems in place, what do I do now to get them in place so that I'm prepared on one side, I'm prepared on the other side? And when I look at entrepreneurs, you have to think about multiple systems to get your business looking the way it needs to look. You have to look at your, for example, I mentioned marketing, your finances. Now, financing itself, there are multiple systems just in the aspect of financing. If you look at marketing, there's multiple systems within that. For example, asking the simple question, how do I plan on getting my customers? How do I plan on retaining my customers? How do I gain new customers while the competition's there? How do I build my understanding of what product and services are going to be relevant today versus what's relevant tomorrow? You look at the beer and wine industry, you had many of them producing solvents so that we had materials to clean our hands. So you look at how they pivoted. Many of the materials they may have be able to have access to, the cost has gone up. Many entrepreneurs are facing challenges of getting product for the Christmas season. So understanding your vendor relationships, understanding how your vendors work, even how they bill. So all those different things, you have to put systems in place because the what if happened during the pandemic, and the what if is not going to change because we're dealing with the world that's interdependent on one another. And if we have a world that's interdependent on one another, we almost have to become predictors of what possibly could happen. And if you don't have a plan for what possibly could happen, then you're constantly in constant flux of what do I do next? What do I do next? Instead of saying, hey, this is what I got to do based on what resources I have, what measures I have, and what planning I put in place. At least you get a groundwork of footing so that you can just move those things in that different direction. And what I try to do is work with entrepreneurs to get them to look at these things, to look at the systems, plan for these things, and put a resource that matches it. If a resource doesn't exist, sometimes you have to create your own resource, become your own solution. During this pandemic, many entrepreneurs didn't get the funding because other businesses got it. So, as an entrepreneur, we have to come up to a point of being entrepreneurial, meaning being solution makers in order to get the results we need for our business, whether it's a moving 1 inch or moving 100 inches. You got to have that movement so you can see progress so that it helps to keep you motivated as well.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, Mark, a couple things that you brought up is, the fact that number one is, Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, phenomenal. North Carolina, the state, all the various resources that are here. And, it's pretty exciting. We're here and sometimes you can take things for granted. We're going to be hearing from, not only you, but we've got Stephen, we've got Dr. Inga, we've got Lisa. And so it's pretty exciting, all these different entities, these different resources. And, one of the things that, for you to say that, wow, we may have, as far as entrepreneurship, new business owners, a 41% spike before the end of the year. I mean, that's exciting. But I also really appreciate the fact that you said, it's all about follow through. It's all about you saying to yourself, hey, listen, not all businesses that start succeed. So what is it? There's a roadmap. You mentioned the 7 components to, a business plan. And I think again, I always like to say 7 P's: prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance, right? And that's really, the key. I also believe success leaves footprints. So connecting with your office, right? With, you, Fred, Jamelia, Malaya, and the team that's expanding, I think that would be really wonderful. And so, with that being said, Mark, as we go into these next, what do we have? We're in November. We got Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas, the holidays. What do you suggest? What do you suggest? What are some action items that you would encourage our viewers to take during these next, 48 days before we come into the new year? Are there any things that you would suggest that we be focused on? Because I really believe, again, planning is everything. And I want to hear from you. What can we do now to gear up to position ourselves for greater growth, greater development, greater results in 2022 and beyond? What do you recommend business owners do during these next few weeks as we approach January 1st?
Get familiar with technology.
Mm.
The way we communicate, how we navigate resources. We're in the information age of the internet. We carry computers in our hands via our phones, our laptops, our desktops. So there's a lot of information out there. If you just type in the word business funding and you hit that, you'll see probably 23, 27 million just, just topics on just funding. If you type in business plan, you'll get the same number. So understanding how to navigate, seek out the professionals that could assist you and help you in getting past all the muck and getting to the things that can assist and help your business grow. And realize this: just because I've been advising businesses for 30 years and I love doing what I do, I have a team of individuals that I work with. I work with the multiple partners. The City of Charlotte's a partner of ours. Charlotte Business Resources is a partners of ours. The SBTDC is a partner of ours. And the SBTDC is the Small Business Training Development Center, North Carolina. The Small Business Center Network, CPCC, the Women Business Center, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, many of the partners that we work with. Because one thing I know in working with entrepreneurs is that if I don't have all the answers, you as an entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure doesn't have all the answers as well. So we use one another to help lift entrepreneurs up, to help them to. And there's times that I have to do research myself and I go through professional development myself almost on a daily basis because I deal with different challenges every day. On an average month, I'm looking at between 3 and 500 clients a month. Not every problem is going to be the same. So a lot of time I research solutions so that I can assist them to proceed to the right direction that'll help them. And sometimes those directions that we may offer to them may hit a dead end. So as an entrepreneur, I recommend this highly, that you never stop seeking out because there are solutions out there. And as an entrepreneurial endeavor that you're doing and going through, it's a process. And a process, sometimes you hit the mark and sometimes you miss it. And if you miss it, you keep striving until you hit the mark that you want. There are many, many, many entrepreneurs that are out here, and there are many solutions to help you get to those directions and that pinpoint that you want so that your business grows. So, what I recommend that every entrepreneur does is first have an understanding of where they want to go. and where they want to do. Having that mission and vision that is clear. And you're going to have multiple mission and visions. Don't be an entrepreneur and say, this is my mission and vision, and that's it. Because you're going to have a mission and vision on marketing, mission and vision on your finances, mission and vision on your family, what you want your family to look like, what you want your personal expenses to look like. So you're going to have multiple mission and visions. Attach a resource to it. Because if you have, remember, a mission is what you want to do, a vision is how you want to do it. You attach the resources on the vision part so that you have action steps to each of those things. For the new year, we're always talking about, okay, for the new year, I want to achieve this. What I'm going to challenge every entrepreneur to do, whether you're successful, whether you're not successful, whether you're hitting your marks or whether you're not hitting your marks, is to come up with mission and visions and put action steps to each of your mission or your visions. Have resources attached to your vision. For example, we're coming up into tax season. So many businesses are going to need CPAs. They're going to need advising and counseling on who's best to help to do so. If you're going to hit a CPA or you're going to hit an accountant or a tax professional, have a plan. Just giving them your financial records and saying, here, this is what I did for the year, that's not a plan. They're now directing your business. Who's the director of your business? You are. So have a plan. And if you need to discuss with me about putting one together, we can do that. You can contact me through Mecklenburg County's Office of Economic Development, and I will give you my personal cell number. This is my county cell. I carry it with me all the time, 704-589-9404. I will help you to navigate those things and get you connected to proper resources. But you gotta have a plan for every single thing that you want to achieve and do. Don't go in there thinking that I'm going to have all the answers. The City of Charlotte's going to have all the answers. The Women Business Unit is going to have all the answers. No, we're not going to have all the answers, but we're going to have direction. Our goal is to help you navigate those directions, to understand where you need to go. And remember, growth is to get, to reach, opportunity, wealth, truth, and hearing. Now, understanding what growth is understanding what capacity is. Capacity is about getting the knowledge so that you can build your vision and your steps. And that's what I recommend that all entrepreneurs do.
Wow. Thank you, Mark. That is amazing. And I really want to say thank you for sharing your cell phone number. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse. Success leaves footprints. And what you just heard from Mark Stewart of the Office of Economic Development, Mecklenburg County, is the fact that, hey, let's plan our success. Let's plan our results. Let's take action. And regardless if you're a multi-million-dollar business organization or a new startup, listen, we can always continue to grow. Remember this and write this down, CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. Either we're growing or we're dying. So I want to say thank you, Mark, and feel free to type in the chat box any questions that you have. We're going to have Q&A after our presenters conclude, but I want you to capture it while it's still fresh in your mind. Type it in the chat box, and we'll make sure to go through those at the conclusion before we conclude this program today. Listen, that was phenomenal. Okay, so you heard from Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development. I'm so grateful. Now we have Stephen Coker, who is the program manager for the Charlotte Business Inclusion, CBI. And what's so amazing, he's got a quote in his presentation where he actually has our city manager, right, Marcus Jones, and the quote is phenomenal. And I've had the pleasure of working with the CBI, many of the CBI team members over the years, and they are phenomenal. And so I want you to understand, put on your thinking cap, because you're going to see a PowerPoint slide presentation from Stephen that is really amazing. I mean, before we bring that up, I want to say, Stephen, how are you doing today?
Marlon, I am doing very, very well and pleased to be here.
Man, excellent. So glad to have you. Thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. Your team, you are on the front lines. You're helping business owners, MWSBEs, take it to the next level. You're helping those that are just starting out as well as those who are more seasoned. And, I think one of the things that we heard from Mark, is the fact that you never stop. And so I want to, before you go into your presentation, I'd love to hear, what makes you so passionate, Stephen, about, what you do, what your team is doing to help more business owners grow and develop and increase their results?
Well, what we're doing, so many things, but it all starts, and you know this more than anyone, it starts with mindset. What we try to do with the vendors that we work with is really give them that mindset that, they are not simply a business owner, they are an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs really think big picture. They think, how am I going to start this business and what's going to be my end game? Am I going to sell this business? Is it going to be something I hand down to my daughter? You got to really think about all of those things before you come out of the gate. And then there's everything in between. There's the sharpening the saw, getting yourself ready to be in business. There's the constant networking that you just can't do without. There's the mentorship. There's the actual exposing yourselves to the multitude of business opportunity, whether it be with the city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, the banking industry that we have. You have to do all of these things, but it all starts also with the mindset, like I said, and just educating yourself. As you said, it's constant and never-ending improvement. I totally believe in that, and that's how we like to approach our advice when we're giving that to our MWSBE vendors.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stephen. I mean, that's exciting. And it's so true. Mindset is everything. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? C plus B equals A. What you conceive in your mind, you believe in your heart, you will achieve. That's not just some, rubbish, right? It sounds good. Oh, it rhymes, right? It's really the truth, right? You have to believe first. And that's what I love about what you're doing. And I know you have a PowerPoint presentation slide deck, and I'm excited because the beautiful thing about it is you are on a mission, you and your team, right? I mean, we already heard from Mark saying that, wow, it is amazing the resources in North Carolina. We're going to hear from you as far as what the city of Charlotte is offering through the CBI, Charlotte Business Inclusion Program. And then we're going to hear from Lisa Wilson, right, who's a program manager with BOUD and the North Carolina Department of Transportation, Office of Civil Rights. And then we're going to hear from Dr. Inga. And so what I'm saying is that for all of our viewers, all of you aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, one thing you heard from Mark is never stop learning, never stop connecting. And now we're hearing from Stephen the fact of mindset. You got to believe it. If you keep on doing the same thing over and over, you'll keep on getting the same results, right? So, Steve, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend. So grateful to have you. I love for our viewers to really understand more about what CBI is doing and how they can, utilize the resources, the programs, the coaching that you provide. So I turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. First, let me just say to all the listeners, whether you're a minority, woman, or small business, I am here for you. I like to consider myself as your employee, actually. You pay taxes, and my job is to share with you how you can get a part of that $1.5 billion in annual spend that the city offers. Again, I'm Steve Coker, program manager for the Charlotte Business Inclusion Program, which we call CBI. And before I really get into my presentation, I really feel so fortunate to represent the city of Charlotte and being a part of this incredible platform here and sharing this virtual stage with Mark, who you heard from, gave an incredible presentation. Lisa and Dr. Inga, I'm sure they're going to give you some amazing information. I'd advise you to take copious notes and recognize that we're all leaving our information for you to reach out, whether it's our email and or phone number. I want you to always feel free to reach out to me. I'll introduce you to some of my team members. They're just as passionate as I am, because we're looking not only to move this needle, but we're looking to impact the business community. We're looking to create millionaires and do just the most amazing things here in Charlotte, the entire region. If you could get my slide back up, I appreciate it. Okay. There we go. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I started this job about 14 months ago, and Marcus Jones, who is the city manager of the city of Charlotte, he said something that really stuck with me and just made my decision to come to Charlotte very simple. He said that as wealth and equity increases and communities work to overcome racial and gender disparities, the city of Charlotte will be a leader in providing equal access and opportunity for all businesses to grow. And to me, that said, okay, that's the commitment that I need from the leader of our organization. We also have a mayor who's just incredibly committed, and a city council. And so just work with all these fantastic leaders is just so important to me. Next slide. Before I really go into the meat of my presentation, I want to introduce my staff. You know the saying, teamwork makes the dream works. Well, I have the most talented, committed, passionate staff. They're very good at what they do, and collectively, we're here to serve you. There's Sonia Bose, who's our compliance specialist. Of course, there's me, Venetia Drone, administrative assistant, Naima Mathis, a program specialist, Eric Nelson, who's our process manager. Next slide. Then there's Arturo Reynoso, who's our program specialist for construction. Natasha Smith, she's the small business program specialist. Sharian Taylor, she reports all of what we do, our reporting analysis. My right hand, who I consider just a superstar in terms of who you have to get to know, Sean Thomas, who's the assistant program manager. And then there's Kimberly Tibbs, who out of the gate, many of you who aren't certified, you're going to get the chance to meet Kimberly. But that's my staff. I'm really proud of the work they do, and they're just so committed. Next slide. Okay, the mission of CBI, the Charlotte Business Inclusion Program, strives to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the city's contracting and procurement process for our certified minority, women, and small businesses located in the Charlotte region. It's our vision to become a national model for diversity, inclusion, and equity in municipal contracting. And what we really are talking about there is when you look at Charlotte, it's just a growing city, one of the top 15 largest cities in the country. And we don't look at just as having a large city that has this population. We're looking at our businesses and making sure that they grow at the same rate as our population. So we're very passionate, and we want to be one of the best in this entire country. Now, as far as the CBI program goes, what do? Well, we certify and register minority, women, and small businesses, also known as MWSBEs. As it relates to that, we have a certification process with the M's and W's that piggybacks off the state. So if you are looking to become certified as an MWBE, you first get the certification with the hub office of North Carolina. We'll piggyback on it, and your certification is basically guaranteed with the city. We have our separate certification process for small businesses, our small business enterprise. Again, this is something that supports our ecosystem, our local ecosystem as it relates to small businesses, and minority and women businesses can be a part of those SBEs as well. We also monitor diversity and inclusion in contract compliance. And basically, that's our way of keeping our report card on a yearly, annual basis so that we know where we stand. We track and we report on our MWSBE spend so that we can understand from year to year how much are we improving. We never look to go backwards. This past year, we did over $170 million in spend with our MWSBE businesses, and we constantly look forward to striving to do better. We also work on increasing these opportunities for participation, and we do that by taking a deep dive, understanding what we spend, and understanding where our businesses are growing in. And every year we try to, if it's ineligible spend in year one, year two, we're looking at who's new as a certified business and use that as a strategy to increase our spend with MWSBE businesses. And then we conduct numerous MWSBE educational and outreach initiatives. Next page, please. Okay. This is kind of not really showing up on my page too well, but can you advance that slide? Okay. I'll talk about Early Bird. And I'm going to put the link in the chat so that you can all go and take a look at it for yourself. Early Bird is what we call a business opportunity pipeline. It allows you to, it's a creative, innovative, comprehensive, real-time dashboard that allows you to look at city opportunities to maximize the visibility. So you're able to look at opportunities that as much as 18 months out. And as it gets closer to getting on the street, coming close to procurement, you're able to get yourself prepared by knowing what is in the opportunity funnel so that you can be prepared when those businesses or those opportunities come on the street. We look at this as a tool that is going to serve your business very well. And I'd urge you to take a look at the link that I share so that you can have an understanding of how to actually pursue a business opportunity with the city of Charlotte. Next slide. At this point, like I said to you, I want you to feel free to, at the end of this presentation, to ask your questions, but know that with my information, you can always reach out to me. I look forward to working with all of you and helping you grow your businesses. Any questions?
Ali, if you would, but I want to say thank you because that was really, really great. You know, I'm seeing a common thread, the early bird, right? And so we'll be posting that onto the screen as well for our participants to click the link because that to me is what I said earlier about the 7 Ps. Prior proper planning prevents pitifully poor performance. And so, you know, that to me is, you know, just getting a jump start ahead of what's coming in the pipeline, right? That is amazing. And I really appreciate, Stephen, you know, I've had the opportunity to work with CBI, you know, your team members, phenomenal, very committed to helping us all grow. And so with that, you know, one of the things that I do see a question that we have as far as who do we contact directly for certification? Is there somebody in your office that we should actually contact directly?
Yes, you would contact either Kimberly Tibbs or Natasha Smith, and I'll include their information in the chat as well so that if you're looking to get certified, they'll walk you down the path, take you step by step what it takes to become an MW or SBE certified firm.
Wow, thank you. And that was from Fatima Lewis. Thank you, Fatima. Again, you know, if you have any questions, go ahead and post it in the chat box. You know, we will have a finale with all 4 of our guest presenters. And Stephen, I know that also you're very committed. So I would love to, if it's okay, post your email and your phone number, you know, because I know you had that in one of your later slides. So we'll put that on the screen as well. Because again, what I want us to understand My mom used to say, squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? And so, we're bringing you leaders. These are leaders, ladies and gentlemen. These are individuals that are very committed, very passionate, but you got to do your part. We can't just sit back and be spectators. We have to say, you know what? I want to be in this game called life. I need to be on the field. So what am I saying? I'm saying, hey, go ahead and make that phone call. You saw that Mark shared his phone number, and we're going to post Steven's phone number and email up on the screen as well. But that's what you want to do. You want to get on it, because here's what I realize is that ask and it shall be given, right? Seek and shall find, knock and the door shall be open, right? I know that's, a spiritual concept, but it's very real. And one of the things I want you to remember is this. People say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But guess what? Even beyond that, it's not what you know. It's not always who you know. It's who knows you. And so you want to develop relationships. I would be Success by Choice. My company will be celebrating 30 years of business success. We've done programs in 45 states, 18 countries. I don't share that to impress you, but to impress upon you, it's all about relationships. It's all about connecting with others. And so I really encourage you to connect with the CBI. Fatima, that was a great question. Thank you so much for asking that question. And so now what we're going to do, and again, Stephen will be in our finale, our roundtable Q&A. So continue posting your questions. We'll make sure we address all the questions, because we want to be mindful of time. Time is our most precious commodity, and we appreciate you for being here. The next person I'd like to introduce to you is Lisa Wilson. And as you can see, the beautiful thing about it is that, we talked about, check this out. We've talked about the county, Mecklenburg County, Office of Economic Development with Mark Stewart. We then talked about the city of Charlotte with Stephen Coker, the CBI program manager. Now, Lisa Wilson represents the Office of Civil Rights, North Carolina Department of Transportation, NCDOT. She's the program manager for business opportunity and workforce development, also known as BOW. And so, Lisa, welcome. We hope you're doing great. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm very well, Marlon. Thank you. How are you today?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. We know you're very busy, and we are excited. And so I'd love for you, before we go into your slides and whatnot, I'd like for you to share a little bit, the BOW unit. Why are you so passionate about what you and your team members are doing to help more businesses grow and expand and develop, and so they really maximize their potential? Why are you so excited?
Yes, thank you, Marlon. We are so excited because we actually get to assist the firms who get certified and help them with the next steps. Basically, to be successful, they need to have a little bit of guidance, a little bit of practice, a little bit of hand-holding sometimes. And so we know that the Department of Transportation is a big beast. We know it's hard to conquer. So we are here to try to break it down for the businesses and make sure that they understand we are a resource for them. And that's what we're here to do, is be a resource. And you mentioned that earlier. And so my slideshow is going to talk about the ways in which we do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I love that, Lisa, because it can be somewhat intimidating. North Carolina DOT, I mean, it's huge, right? And yet here your unit is helping us as business owners navigate, step by step, right? Anything's a cinch. And so, I really want to say thank you, because, for those of us that are watching, and even those of you watching the recording, again, we're bringing you resources for your business success. And so with that being said, Lisa, I turn it over to you, and I know you have a phenomenal presentation slide that you'll share with us.
Okay, great. Yes, if you could put up the slide deck, that'd be great. Okay, again, my name is Lisa Wilson. I am the program manager for the BOW unit. I did spend about a year being the certifications manager as well, so I have that knowledge to share with you as well. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to get certified, and then what to do next after you're certified. So if you could go to the next slide. So the Office of Civil Rights is really kind of broken up into two different units in a way. We've got one side that's the business services, where we're actually assisting firms, and then we have the compliance side, where we're actually working with the vendors and anyone who feels that they've been discriminated against in the field. So business services consist of the business certifications program, which is the DBE, which is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, which is the federal program for highways. And then we have two small business related certifications for the state. And I just wanted to mention those briefly today, the small professional services firms and the small business enterprises. And we'll go over those in a little bit. And then, of course, our unit, the Business Opportunity and Workforce Development, is there to help assist the DBEs in being successful after they've been certified. And then we have an on-the-job training program, which is there to assist people who want to get into the construction business. And then also there are some federal requirements that they have, the primes have on-the-job training individuals on their projects as well. So next slide. Okay, so what is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program? It's based on the federal regulations 49 CFR Part 26, and it outlines exactly how we're to run the program and what we're going to be offering in ways of assistance. But as far as the purpose of it, the objectives are basically to ensure non-discrimination in transportation contracting, and that's not only in highway, but it's also in transit and aviation. And then we want to create a level playing field where DBEs can compete fairly by taking away some of those barriers or those obstacles that they sometimes come across. And then we also want to ensure only firms that fully meet eligibility standards are permitted to participate in the program as a DBE. And that's the certifications job, to make sure that they look at all the look at all the eligibility standards and make sure that the firms are meeting them to a T, so that there's no fraud or abuse in the program. And then also we want to assist the development of firms so that they can compete successfully. And next slide. So the DBE certification stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. It is a federal program, so it's monitored by the Federal Highway Administration. They basically tell us to put goals on our project so that DBEs can have participation on the project, but then they turn around and allot us some money to help develop those firms. So that's what we do inbound. So when you become a DBE, you either become an MBE or a WBE. The MBE is the minority, and then if you're a non-minority woman, you get the W designation. We used to have sort of a separate program for the state, but now the state runs the DBE goal setting just like the federal does. So we don't necessarily break out, you have to have X% for minority and X% for women. You can make that total up either way, whether you're using an MBE or WBE, as long as you meet that total DBE goal that's been set. And then I mentioned briefly the Small Business Enterprise Program. That is typically for firms that have less than $1.5 million in revenue. And what we do is we take smaller projects, usually maintenance projects, and restrict the bidding of those to just small business enterprises. So it's a stepping stone for small businesses. And it is a race and gender neutral program. So that is on the state side. And then also on the state side, we have a small professional services firm certification, which is usually your engineers, your architects, your land surveyors, that kind of thing. And that's also race and gender neutral. And all these certifications and the renewals can now be done online. We have an online portal now that cuts down on having to send in all that paperwork that we used to request. And it's available just by going on there and click. You have 2 small steps to get in, and then from there, once you're approved, you go to our directory of firms, you're added there, and then every year you go to the same website and either renew, if it's a SBE or SPSF, or if it's a DBE, you really just have to do a non-change form that nothing has changed, and then your taxes. Next slide, please. The eligibility for to be a DBE is very particular. It's run by it is monitored by the regulations, and you have to first be socially disadvantaged and also economically disadvantaged. It's a little bit different than the HUB program, which is the state program. You only have to be socially disadvantaged to be a member of that or get certified as that. And I like to say to people that Oprah Winfrey could be a HUB firm, but Oprah Winfrey could not be a DBE because I'm sure that her personal net worth is over $1.32 million. So the socially disadvantaged is you're automatically, if you're in one of the designated classes, a minority or you're a woman, you're automatically in that social disadvantage. And then when you have to prove to us that you are economically disadvantaged as well. There's also a size limit to it. You have to be, according to the Small Business Association's size limits or by NAICS codes. For DBEs, you cannot have a gross revenue of more than 26.29 million. And ACDBE stands for Airport Concessions Disadvantage, and that number is a little bit higher. But basically, you have to meet both the size limit, but you also, according to your NAICS code, have to be whatever's considered size for that NAICS code as well. And we rely on the SBA to provide those limits for us. And then ownership, you have to be, the firm must be owned by at least a disadvantaged member who owns 51% of the firm. So that person that's being considered for the application has to be 51% owner. And we do that, check that by various ways of looking at documentation and also how you run your business. We basically do a site visit before we certify the firm to make sure that the person who is the owner is not just the owner on paper, but they're actually managing the company and have the expertise necessary to guide that company. And then control, to make sure that that person who is the disadvantaged member is managing the firm, sets the policies, and can operate the business on their own. So next slide. So what are the benefits of being DBE certified? Well, the first one is a really big one. It's free marketing. We have a directory of firms on our website, which is connect.ncdot.gov. And that is for people who want to do business with NCDOT. It's not your traveling public where you get your license renewed and that kind of thing. It's people who want to do business. And so we have that directory, which lists you if you're a member of the SBE, SPSF, or DBE. Also, if you're pre-qualified, which is another process you need to go through after you or before you can work on projects. But that listing in the directory gives other people a way to contact you. It gives you your phone number. It gives your website address, your email. It also lists the work codes that you are certified in, pre-qualified in, and then also what kind of certification you have. So it's very important to keep that information up to date, because basically it's where firms go to when they're looking for subs to be on their projects. But also you can use it as a small business to find primes to be on projects with as well. So it's a very useful tool. And then also another benefit of being DBE certified is that you now have access to BOW DBE supportive services. And that's basically what I was talking about when I said FHWA gives us money or allocates funding for us to provide services for the DBE so that they can be successful on the projects. And then you also have contract protection. We have officers who go out onto the projects and make sure that there's no discrimination being tolerated. We make sure that the contracts are being completed or executed as written. We make sure that you get paid quickly. So we have prompt pay in North Carolina. So after the prime gets paid, the prime has 7 days to pay the subcontractor. So we look for those types of things and make sure things, everybody's in compliance. The other benefit is a hub reciprocity. Hub is the historically underutilized business program run by the Department of Administration in North Carolina. And because we have so many strict eligibility requirements, and also we require so much paperwork, that we allow you, if you want to become hub certified after you become DBE certified, you basically just give us permission to turn that information over to the hub office, and they will certify you without having to go through the process again. So basically that's a good benefit for you. It doesn't work the other way around, because like I said, the hub certification does not require the firm to be economically disadvantaged, and the DBE program does. But nevertheless, it is a savings of time and paperwork. Next slide. So how do you apply for certification? Well, the first thing I like to tell people is to make sure that DBE certification is right for you. So do your research. it benefits firms who want to do work in the transportation industry, first of all. Now, there may be other ways that it benefits your firm. So I say to go ahead and do that research and make sure that it is going to be something that's going to help your business, so that it's not just another certification or paperwork that you need to keep up with. Basically, the goals are set on federal projects and on state projects for a DBE, and that's what we're looking for, is mainly transportation-related firms. There are other instances, like I said, where it can be beneficial because we are considered a one-stop shop. When you get DBE certified, most other municipalities and counties recognize that certification as well. Go ahead and gather all the documentation that you need. It's a lot. And sometimes what I recommend is to get a copy of the paperwork, the actually paper application, which you can get on FHWA's website, to find out what you need to, or we can email it to you, or to find out what you need to gather in advance, because that way you won't have to keep stopping and starting and researching and that kind of thing. The website to get certified is connect.ncdot.gov/be certified. So that portal is there. It's been in operation now, going on a year and a half, almost 2 years, that we started testing it. What you do is you go to that website and you request an NCID. That's basically what you do for all state-related password protected databases. And then after you do that, you request access to our database, which is the Enterprise Business System, and you fill out the application online and you upload your requested documents into the portal. And it can take 90 days to get a decision after a completed application is received. Many times it's not complete the first time we get it. We have to go back and say, you missed this, or we need more proof on this, that kind of thing. But you will get told the status, and you can electronically, and so you can find out what you're missing and add that to your application. And you will receive a letter, which is basically an approval letter, or if it's a denial, you'll get a denial. But that letter is your proof that you have been certified, and you will be placed in our directory of firms, as I mentioned. And then don't forget pre-qualification, which, as I said, is another step to do work on on DOT projects, basically where we verify your equipment, your expertise, and your employees' ability to do the job, and then also your safety record. We do not require pre-qualification on those small business enterprise projects, like I mentioned earlier. That is one of the benefits of being SBE and being able to take advantage of those small projects that are set aside. Next slide. Okay, the purpose of our supportive services is to increase the number and capacity of certified DBE contractors and consultants doing business with the Department of Transportation in the highway-related construction business. Next slide. So the Business Opportunity and Workforce Development Program, what do we do? One of the things that we do is run a mentor-protege program, where the mentor is a larger, more experienced firm, and the protege is typically a smaller DBE firm. The reason this program is successful is because there can be a little bit more cooperation between the two, whereas in a normal prime and sub relationship, there are certain things you cannot do for the DBEs. You can't actually lend them equipment. You can't loan them your employees. You have to be careful, make sure they're doing their commercially useful function or cuff. But in a mentor-protege program, you can be a little bit more creative. You can do some things that would not be allowed in the other situation, but along the lines of helping with to get a job done, maybe show them how to do it, actually have some of your employees working with their employees. So it's a little bit more creative and a little bit more lenient. And it is a program that we have not got up and running right now. The COVID has kind of messed us up with that program, but we will be starting that again soon. Hopefully, if anyone's interested, please let us know. And then also we have another series of classes we're calling Getting to It Yes. And basically there are different classes that are going to be focused on making sure you're successful in whatever you do. The first one that we are doing is November 18th, and it's called Getting to It Yes, the Basics. And basically we're going to go through, start from the beginning, of how to work through our website, find the projects, how to do the bidding and estimating. And this class is being taught by veterans who were 30-year employees of DOT. So we plan to do some on bonding, some on insurance, possibly some on access to capital. So that program is just getting started, and we're real excited about carrying it through 2022. And then we also have different kinds of classes that we offer. We have a partnership or an MOU with NC State where we offer some courses that they offer that are DOT specific. And if you're a DBE, we possibly can let you take those classes for free. You would need to contact our office and find out what the eligibility requirements are. But many of our firms have taken advantage of that, and they're really high quality classes, and they're usually around $100, $150. So, and they're on various subjects like flagging and estimating, so different things that you can use in your business. And then we also have some access to capital classes that we have done in the past. But basically, we just kind of call these classes our tips, and so that we can basically carry on with any kind of topic that you might need. And we do an assessment of firms to make sure that we're starting where you need to be, begin the process. If you're in a more advanced firm, there may be other classes that are more appropriate to you than getting to a yes, the basics. So that's part of how we determine what is the best route for you. So next slide, please. Other things we have, I mentioned access to capital. We had a banker symposium back in September where we had about 10 or 11 bankers, some traditional financiers and some non-traditional financiers, because sometimes that is something that small firms have a barrier, is that they don't have the money that they need to get started or to, staff up for a particular project. So we do try to work with you on that aspect of trying to find funding. We have a business development program, which is outlined by the regulations, so that we take firms into a program that lasts a year. And basically a consultant is hired to work with the firms to help them get their business plans ready, to help them in whatever area they may need some mentoring or some assistance. And so that program is right now about to get started again. So if anyone is interested in that, we do take firms from all across the state, and we'll be happy to do an assessment with you and figure out if that program is right for you. And then the community engagement series, we have been, before COVID, we were going out into the community and talking with all the local folks, bringing in our division folks to talk about the local opportunities. And since then, we have done it a couple of times in partnership with the Department of Highways, but a couple had to be virtual as well. But we are promising to do those at least quarterly in conjunction with Division of Highways. So those events are usually very successful. It's always good to, put a name with a face and be able to shake hands and talk about the projects. Next slide, please. The next slide, yeah. Okay, so just kind of as a wrap up, just to let you know what the different services we offer. We do have that partnership with NC State, which is the North Carolina Local Technical Assistance Program, or LTAP, as we lovingly call it. And there is a Rhodes Scholar program that's associated with that if you would like to earn that certificate. And again, in collaboration with NC State. We also do a newly certified orientation every month. And in fact, we have one today. It's free. It's open to anyone who would like to attend. We basically go over, what do I do next? Which after you get certified, what is the next step? We also have someone from pre-qualification speaking at that orientation to talk about that process. And then we talk about our services here, like I've done today. We also do a how to do business with the NCDOT. We recently did a program on succession planning, what to do if your business is interrupted, either by, some disaster or something like COVID, or, what do you do in making sure that you have everything ready to get back in operation into business. And then I mentioned the how to get to a yes program. Also fundamentals of construction, that's kind of now been kind of combined with how to get to a yes program, where that first one is going to cover those items there in in parentheses, the spec book training, which North Carolina Department of Transportation has a standards and specification book, which basically guides all of the things that we do. Bidding and estimating and bonding are also included in that. And then we also like to say, think outside the box. Maybe you're not ready for the traditional prime and sub transportation project. So maybe you might want to look at being involved with some of our disaster recovery areas when we have snow. Maybe you can put a plow on your truck and help us, clean up the snow. There's also division contracts, which are done at the division level, which are more of an hourly contract. And 4 stands for fully operated rental equipment. And so that's something where you basically go in and say, hey, I have this equipment, I can do this, I have X amount of employees, call me if you need me. And so we put you on an as needed contract there. And then, of course, there's joint venturing with larger firms or teaming. And then we have one-on-one supportive services that if you are a DBE doing roadway construction work and you have a particular need, we can evaluate that need based on, your work and what you do, and to see if it's something that we can pay for, like maybe for if you need to have an accounting software like QuickBooks, or maybe you need to be trained on QuickBooks, we can do that as well. So it's just depending on the funding that we have available and what your needs are, that we might be able to help you with that. We have a team that had the contact information on the PowerPoint, but we can certainly email that to everyone. But we do have a team of folks that help us, and several on the call today. So hopefully you can reach out to them at any time. We do have an email box, which is bowd, BOWD, at ncdot.gov. And then our phone number is 984-236-1234. And there are the names of our team members that can help you with anything that you have, anything I've talked about today, or if you just need some, to soundboard off of someone, we can do that as well. But we are here for you. Your tax dollars pay for us, so we are a resource for you to use to get to the next level in your business and help you through some of these trying times that we've had recently. We'll be happy to see if we have a resource that will assist you. So thank you. And I look forward to Q&A if we're going to do that at the end. And, just want to make sure we're here for you and that we'll help you whenever we can.
Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, we do have a few questions, and we will be having that in our roundtable Q&A.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I think that one of the things that I'm really excited about is the Getting to a Yes program, on November 18th. And I think, again, these resources are here. And so for our viewers, go ahead and get involved. You now have BOWD, BOWD at ncdot.org. You need to go ahead and send an email so that we can stay plugged in. And so with that, our last presenter, time flies when you're having fun. And I just want to again say thank you to our first 3 presenters. What Lisa just shared is a lot of information, but also you see that again, it's really about positioning yourself. And when we talk about, business development and growth, it's really comes down to you doing things different, you doing things, that says, what, I want to position my business for greater results. And so again, NCDOT and the BOWD unit doing phenomenal things. And I see there's quite a few questions, and we're going to have, this roundtable Q&A with all of our presenters at the conclusion. So prior to that, we have one more presenter, and I'm really excited. Dr. Inga is somebody who's a CEO, and her company, her organization is DRI University. She's the CEO of this university, and she's all about helping business owners, entrepreneurs take it to the next level. One of the things that, and Mark mentioned it earlier, during COVID-19, there were funding opportunities, but a lot of businesses were not in position to actually receive funding. And so Dr. Inga, oh my goodness, she's got some unconventional, non-traditional funding resources. And we wanted to bring this up because I don't know what the next challenge will be. I don't know if there's going to be another pandemic. I don't know if there's going to be another economic crisis or global warming. I don't know what it is going to be, but we need to be positioned. And sometimes cash flow for a business owner, for a business entity to go to the next level, right? As far as growth and development and increasing greater results, sometimes just hedging that window when things are challenging. Because again, I don't know if you know this, but so many businesses closed their operations last year during 2020 during the mandatory stay-at-home order, and a lot of it is because boom, they didn't have access to that cash flow, right? And as Mark said earlier, a lot of businesses couldn't get the funding, the PPP loans and the various grants and so on and so forth, because they might not have had their paperwork in order or didn't have the relationships with the bankers and with those funding sources. And so we're very excited to have Dr. Inga join us. And Dr. Inga, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
Oh, truly, I truly am, and grateful to have you on. And Dr. Inga, I'd love for you to share before you go into your presentation. I'd love for you to share, why is this important? We're bringing resources and you do things throughout the United States, you and your team. But why is it's so important in working with entrepreneurs and business owners? What we're doing is we're sharing resources, we're sharing entities that can help businesses take it to the next level. So I'd like to hear from you. I always like to ask each of our presenters just an opening question. Why is this so important?
Yeah, well, the reality is this, as everyone have discussed, is that one's business success equals its business capital. And so we know that money is the answer for all things. And so just being able to have access to working capital to start, scale, grow, even beat the competition is definitely the answer. And so that's what we do. We help those businesses, startups, and existing businesses get access to working capital untraditionally because, again, one's business success equals its business capital.
Wow.
A lot of times what I've seen is that when you talk about and you think about competition, it's not that the business next door offers something greater than you. It's that maybe they have more access to capital to take them to another level. And so that's what we want to do. We want to leverage the playing field and let people know that there are ways that you can actually get working capital regardless of your current situation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I mean, that really, I think what a nice way, we've heard of different resources, from Mecklenburg Office of Economic Development. We've heard from the City of Charlotte, Business Inclusion. We've heard from North Carolina, DOT, Department of Transportation. And now to have you be our final presenter, just talking about, again, resources, funding resources. So with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to you and love to see your presentation.
Oh, great. Thank you so much again, Marlon, for the phenomenal opportunity to share.
Thank you.
With this amazing group. Give me 1 second. So the presentation was up. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, well, the name of our company is Unlimited Financial Services, and we're going to talk about 6 ways that businesses can get access to working capital. Okay, we're going to start, and of course, and definitely ask you to take copious notes because I believe that the information we're going to share is really going to be beneficial to all of you that's watching. Did you know that there is no lack? I want to start with this by saying there's no lack of business funding. People just don't know where to get business funding. You can get business funding with no credit, bad credit, and good credit through untraditional lending. Every business have the opportunity to get 10 to 100 times more in business funding than consumer funding. And you can also always leverage your connections and build your network while increasing your net worth, all through Unlimited Financial Services. So let's talk about who we are. Unlimited Financial Services is a funding consultancy service provider, and we've been that since 2011. Our strategic partnership is with 2,000 plus major lenders, private investors, and credit card companies. We also have strategic partnerships with the top business resource consortiums in the United States of America. And we also offer a direct selling program for those individuals that are connected to entrepreneurs and startups and existing businesses that would see value in unlimited financial services, adding that to your platform to be able to offer additional services to that group of people. And as you can see, the funding opportunities that I'm going to speak about today will benefit startups, entrepreneurs, small business owners, movers and shakers, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, anyone that has projects that need working capital. Again, I am the CEO of Unlimited Financial Services, and we have secured from our global marketplace over $1 billion in funding. And my expertise is over 20 plus years in the industry of helping people get capital and make capital. Now, I do want to talk about the difference between traditional lending and untraditional lending. Please understand that when we talk about traditional lending, those are considered lenders like those from local banks, SBAs, and things of that nature. In most cases, the requirements are full doc, and sometimes the requirements are a little more stringent for a startup or a business that's under 2 years in operation that may not have 2 years of financials and things of that nature. So full doc basically says that whatever you state on that application, you must be able to prove. Okay. So a lot of times credit score does matter. 720 or higher, 680 or higher, but we've seen that 720 is the sweet spot for your local banks. Cash flow, last 2 year personal tax returns and business financials, or personal financials and business financials, is definitely something that they will definitely look at. And collateral is always another great stipulation if you currently own real estate. Oftentimes, they may want to secure the loan with your real estate if you own a home or if you own real estate investment property. Also, also, we have IRAs and things of that nature, or even your money. Have you ever gone to a local bank and they offered you a credit card? And if you were turned down from that, then they would basically say, well, you could secure it with your money and we'll loan you money from using your money. Okay. Oftentimes, I've seen that the turnaround times are a little lengthy. And then, of course, debt to income ratios are somewhat of a challenge. And then utilization, how you're already using your credit. All of these things matter when it comes to traditional lending. And so we call those the power 3 C's: cash flow, collateral, and credit. Okay. And then there are guidelines as it relates to cash flow, credit, and collateral. Well, on the untraditional lending side, it's considered light doc and the requirements are minimal. On the traditional side, you need to have at least two of the power 3 C's: credit and cash flow, or great credit and collateral. Okay. When we move over to the untraditional lending world, credit, cash flow, collateral, and consulting. Consulting is going to be key for both sides of them, but most importantly on the untraditional lending side, because basically there are underwriting guidelines that are designed to help entrepreneurs, small businesses, and startups get their foot in the door with lending. So in that case, we have programs, and we're going to talk about it, that's based off of credit only or based off of cash flow only. And then we'll talk about those collateral type funding programs. So let's talk about those 6. The first 2 are the fastest and easiest ways for individuals to be able to qualify to get funding for their business. This particular program, Quick Funding Credit Card Program, is based off of credit only. So it's based off of the strength of one's credit. And so if one have military affiliation, meaning that you served in the military, or your spouse or a sibling or a parent, and all 3 scores are at least a 620, then you could qualify to get funding. If you do not have military affiliation, and all 3 scores are at least a 650, then you could qualify to get funding. Now, if you have a business, if you own a business, and all 3 scores are at least a 680, not only will you be able to qualify for personal funding, but you may be able to qualify also for business funding, and the lines and loans will show up in your business name and not show up on your personal credit report. So once again, this particular program is based on credit, the strength of your credit. So guess what? No proof of income, no proof of employment, no collateral. And you could qualify through this program to receive anywhere from $25,000 to $250,000 in 3 to 15 days. Listen, I know that sounds unbelievable, but it's possible. And obviously, it's been working because I've been doing this for the last 20 years. Now, obviously, because this is based off of credit, there are some other underwriting guidelines. So that means this program, what one would qualify for, heavily depends on the strength of its credit. So they want to make sure that you have at least 4 seasoned primary trade lines reporting 12 to 24 months, no lates or collections in the last 12 months, no foreclosures in the last 3 years, no bankruptcies in the last 5 years. Okay. Now, those are the major guidelines. And what we tell people in most cases, according to the FICO scoring system, that if you meet the credit score requirement, in most cases, number 4 through 7 automatically apply. So we don't want you to try to become underwriters. If you meet those credit score requirements, we encourage you to apply. Now, just like anyone else, this is not free, right? Everybody get paid. Underwriters get paid. They know that you can't just walk into a local bank and get 25 to 250,000 with no proof of income, no proof of employment, and no collateral. So there's no cost up front, but you would pay a 20% consultant fee from the money you get when you get it. But watch this. This is working capital. You got to always have a plan. And so, after you pay that consultant fee, we recommend that you put a percentage of that money to the side, put it in the bank, to pay the note on the money that you get. Utilize the rest of it to help your business scale or grow. And you'll find yourself utilizing the OPM theory, which is other people's money, utilizing this program. And we're going to talk about that a little later. All right. Then we have a cash flow program. This is based off of your business ability to be able to prove that it generates revenue. Okay, so this one is your credit doesn't matter. Liens and judgments doesn't matter, right? If you have been in business for at least 12 months and you can prove that you generate at least $10,000 a month, provable via bank statement deposits, then you can qualify to get funding in your business name. And I'm so grateful and honored to announce that my underwriters called me last week and they basically said, listen, we're going to actually utilize volume discounts because you send so much business to us. What we're going to do, if your clients have been in business for at least 3 months and they're generating at least $6,000 a month and they can prove that through bank deposit, we'll be more than happy to give them a startup loan. Right? So once again, now if your business is incorporated, of course, we want to make sure that those deposits are going into your business account. So they are going to actually require, your last 12-month bank statements or your last 3 to 6 month bank statements. If your company is not incorporated, that's okay. Just make sure that your bank statement states your name doing business as whatever that business is. If that's not the case, that's an add-on. Just contact your local bank and make that change on your bank account before you go to closing when they verify that that's on there. But once again, this funds in 3 to 5 days. Matter of fact, just last week, one of our clients closed and they actually funded the same day. So this particular program is based on one's ability to generate revenue. So the first one we have is based off of credit, right? And this one is based off of your ability to generate revenue. How much you qualify for obviously depends on how much money you've been generating, right? So you have some startups, some trucking companies, logistic companies, entrepreneur, retailers, whatever that business may be. You may generate maybe, I don't know, 60 to 60,000 a month. But then you have those in the health professions, attorneys, physician, doctor offices, and those into behavioral health that may generate, more revenue. And so we're able to help them, as well as accounts receivable. That's that same niche market, right? That generate funds. Now, when we talk about the best practices and use of funds, that's very important to know. Oftentimes we have people and they're always sharing, hey, get this money, get this money, get this money, but they never share with you the best practices or use of funds. So I want to just deviate for a moment before I go into the other funding programs because they're more collateral based. And then we're going to talk about the power of business credit. Right? So when you think about the OPM theory, other people's money, well, I'm just going to use briefly for the next 3 minutes. I want you to think about Walmart. Okay. Walmart is one of the largest retail companies in America, right? Well, check this out. 95% of the items that's on the shelf, they don't pay for. I'll use for an example, Scott paper towels. Walmart may have an account with Scott paper towels where they have terms, right? What does terms mean? Net terms. So net terms basically says, listen, I will go ahead and allow you to purchase and receive these items that you want on credit. And you have net 30. So you have 30 days to pay the invoice after you receive the items, or 60 days or 90 days. Think about this for a moment. So Walmart has an account with Scott paper towels. Walmart orders Scott paper towels from Scott. Okay. Those items show up on the shelf. We go to Walmart. We pay for those items. Okay, Walmart takes our money, pay for the invoice, put the profit in the bank, and do it over and over and over and over again. 90% of the items that's on the shelf, this is what they do. So they're always leveraging credit, whether it's store credit or credit that comes from a loan, or credit that comes from a line of credit, or credit that comes from a credit card. They're always leveraging other people's money to do what they need to do with the money, put the profit in the bank, and they do it over and over and over again. And so when you think about what I just said, I just shared with you two of the fastest and easiest ways for startups and existing businesses to get access to capital. So once again, let's just say you get approved for $100,000 today. Pay your 20% consultant fee. You have 80,000 left. Well, put 20 to 30,000 in the bank. You have 50,000 left. Dump that $50,000 into your business that's going to help you scale, right? Let's not go on vacation. It's not time for that. Let's make sure that we're going to invest that money, put it in Facebook ads, put it in something that's going to generate and quadruple that money. And you'll find yourself using money in the bank to pay the bills on the money that you have. And you've never touched your income. You've never touched company revenue. You've never touched company profit, but you're building profit. And then, of course, you'll be able to leverage those resources and work with financial planners, and they'll be able to share with you what to do with those substantial profits. And of course, we have geniuses on the line that can teach you what to do with that. All right. So then we offer fix and flip funding or real estate investment funding. Very creative financing there. If you want to get financing to purchase a property that needs rehabilitation, our banks will give you funds to purchase and funds to rehab, right? You'll have 18 months to flip it, interest only payments. If you like to purchase a property to rent out, put it on Airbnb, that's available. And then we also offer construction financing for those individuals that like to build. Our banks will even give you the money to buy the land, build it and flip it. All right. So that's available. We have a very aggressive commercial building or commercial funding program, leading industry resource, specializing in retail strip malls, shopping centers, office complexes, apartment complexes, mixed use, 1 to 4 single family residence, multifamily, and warehousing. That's for purchasing and refinancing. Now, what makes our program so aggressive is that the down payment is sourced, but no seasoning on the down payment. So that means you don't have to prove that the money that comes to the closing table have been in the bank for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, which is most common. They don't care about your company financials. They do care that you have a middle score of a 650 and that your primary mortgage or rental history is good, right? So this is make sense financing and refinancing for those in the commercial industry. And I think that's very strong. Right? So we have those. We have once again, just as a quick recap, we have a funding program 25 to 250,000 based on credit. You control how much you qualify for based on how much money you've been generating. This is deposits, bank deposits. Again, your credit does not matter. And then we have fix and flip real estate investment. We have commercial. Now, I do want to take some time for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll be out of your way. I want to talk about the power of business credit. Now, I put a program together, and it's called the Business Wealth Genesis System. And I need you to understand that this is the route that you want to go. Every startup, every existing business. Listen, if you do not have a business credit builder program, please consider doing this, because it will change your business life. Okay, you'll learn how to get credit in the business name using your EIN number, not your social security number. Nothing shows up on your personal credit report. You become business credible. You'll be able to get access to some business credit with no credit check, no personal guarantor, no proof of financials, and no collateral, and about 10 to 30,000 in business credit cards, right? Now, let me just say this. There's something called business credibility. A lot of times, I just want to ask you a question. Have you ever gone to your bank and you asked to apply for a business loan, or you were just looking for information, and did they ever ask you about your Duns and Bradstreet number? Did they ever ask, hey, do you have a Dun & Bradstreet number? What's your business credit score? A lot of times they don't ask because they're assuming that you don't know the power of that, okay? And then the other side of that is because there are millions of business credit builder programs out there. A lot of times I've seen that people have been trying to do it on their own. We have a strategic program that's 3 to 6 months that will give you access to a portal, give you access to business credit advisors. They'll help you make sure that your business is credible. Believe it or not, having a website and a professional email address, there's a 10-point checklist of things that every business should have to be considered business lendable, right? So we'll take you through that process, and then you'll actually get access to companies and stores that will give you credit in the business name with no credit check, no personal guarantor, and no collateral. You'll get that in the first 30 days of signing up with this program. You'll also be able to get commercial auto financing in the business name. Okay, so that's the first program. There's an upfront cost. We'll talk about what that looks like, but you'll be able to do that. And then when you're ready to scale up and get access to even over $1 million in non-collateral money, that means you'll be able to, that helps your buying power. And that is a combination of your credit and your business being set up properly. And of course, we'll be more than happy to connect with you and show you how to do that. Also, we talked about at any point in time, we would love to partner with you, helping you to build your network while increasing your net worth. And that's available
Dr.
as
Inga,
well through Unlimited.
So many people are excited. Okay. I just had to jump in. Okay. Because we're going to have this finale, but I want to say this, people are just, just buzzing on the feedback, your energy is, contagious. But Jay Cullen asked, he said, I meet all the criteria except for the 4 trade lines. Should I still apply?
Yes, I would like to consult with them. So
okay.
Yeah, we definitely want to consult with them.
Excellent. And so here's what I want to say. I'm going to bring up all the speakers, Dr. Inga, and I just want to say for our viewers, there's some questions in the chat box. People are really excited. And one of the things that Dr. Inga is sharing is, again, if we knew better, we do better. There are a lot of resources out here. There's a lot of programs, but sometimes we just don't know any better. And so that's why it was so important. And so Jay, definitely, we're going to put, Dr. Inga's, her team member email address on the screen so that you can go ahead and, reserve a follow-up, coaching session, as she said. But what I want to do right now is I want to bring up all 4 presenters on the screen because, again, this has been really phenomenal. And I want to, first of all, say thank you to each one of you. We do have a few questions. And just because, again, time, I just want to be respectful of time because we've got another, 15 minutes, right? And each one of you is going to have a closing statement that you'll be able to share. But I do want to ask some questions. And I'll start off with Lisa. Lisa, John Cash asked, is there a destination for veteran-owned businesses and working with NCDOT? Where would a veteran-owned business, what suggestion would you have for that?
We do not have a designation for that. I believe the HUB program does, but the federal program does not.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Mark, people were asking, when you talked about growth. And so what is the acronym GROW? Can you repeat that again?
Yes. Get, research, opportunity, wealth, truth, and hearing. Now, you've heard things about wealth today, which was true information. You heard things about opportunity. You heard things about reach today with the NWSBE programs, with the DOT, with the city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. Many businesses fail because they come up with the mission, but they fail to activate the vision part, not applying resources, not planning resources. You've heard a lot of resources today from a lot of professionals today. Even if you may not need it and you don't think you need it, you need to reach out and plan as though you need it. God talks about that in faith. Planning as though it's never been seen. And completing as though it's never been seen. So do it. Don't sit on it. Don't sit on this information. Don't sit on this detail thinking, well, I got time. No, you got time now. activate on it, get the information to Dr. Inga, get the information from Charlotte Business Resources, get the information from Lisa, and get the information from me. Because what I'm going to do, if you come to me and I'm going to ask you, where's your plan?
Great. Powerful. Thank you, Mark. I mean, one of the things that I really like about that is, listen, some of us are zoomed out. We're virtual events out, right? When COVID hit, everybody went into Zoom or WebEx or so on and so forth. But the thing is this, I, as a professional keynote leadership presenter, have facilitated programs in 45 states, 18 countries. It's great, right? You come to these live events, the rah, okay, usually in person. But the real question is, what happens tomorrow? What happens next week? And so one of the things that we're challenging you to do, and we're going to put up everyone's email contact so that you can follow up. Because what we did, we just really touched the surface today. But now it's time to roll up the sleeves and get busy and connect with these individuals. So I have another question. This is for Stephen. Stephen, when it comes down to the business inclusion, how can a business be, we saw your team members, right? And the question is from Joe, how can I best, is there a website page that I can go to, because you shared even I think the person is referring to the program where you can kind of see in advance.
Early bird.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Early bird. So, and we're going to put that on the screen. Chris, can we put that on the screen? Because the question is, the earlybird.charlottebusinessresources.com. How can, an individual business owner from Joe is asking you for CBI, how can I best not waste time? Is there any suggestion in working with CBI so that I can, really be on point?
Well, what I would suggest is, number one, you go to our websites, and we have multiple ones. There's the Charlotte Business Resource, there's Early Bird, there's our general CBI information. Familiarize yourselves with those. But I think one of the most important things that the listeners can do, Marlon, is relationships. That's just critical. I think I've heard it from each one of the speakers here. We are making ourselves available to you. We work for you, and we are here intentionally wanting your business to grow. Now, if you intentionally want your business to grow, follow up. The magic is in the follow-up, and that's what I would say. If there's opportunities that aren't listed at Early Bird, you're going to find out those opportunities maybe from large prime contractors who you build relationships. So I would say attend pre-bid meetings. There's so many things to do, but the reality is you really get a 30-minute session with one member of my team, and you can go a long way instead of me cramming it down your throat here, saying we want the relationship because we have a vested interest in each and every one of you growing your business.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Dr. Inga, we have a question for you. Comes from Shamika. Shamika says, listen, I never thought about getting business credit and so on and so forth. Thank you so much, for that. And the question is, what do I need to do? Would it be the first step is scheduling an appointment with you and your team to walk me through this? Because I never, as a business owner, never thought about having business credit. And would that be the next step?
Absolutely. I believe the email is there for them to send out an email, and staff will definitely reach out to them to schedule an appointment so that we can really get an understanding of their business and their business goals, because as we know, everyone's goals is different. So we want to make sure that we can be able to accommodate them that way.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And that email is P31 prop invel, I guess. Well, we'll put them all up. I'm not going to try to do it right now, but Chris will get them all up. Lisa, we have a question for you. Demita asks, what do you look for in insight visits for home-based businesses?
Well, of course, during COVID, we've been doing virtual visits through the computer. But even if it's a home-based business, we want to go and see where you work and what you do, even if it's your kitchen table. We do that to verify, things in person that we need to see, for example, if you were working with a husband and wife team and the husband and wife were sitting there talking, and the wife was relying on the husband to answer all the questions, that would be something that would be a red flag to us if she was supposed to be the 51% owner. So we would still do it wherever you're doing business. We would just come and sit down and have a chat with you.
Excellent. Thank you. And Fatima asks, under what circumstances would a company be rejected or denied by, NCDOT?
Yeah, so that would be whether they fully meet the criteria for the eligibility. For example, a lot of times we have issues with control and with ownership. So we have to make sure that the person that is that applicant does have control of the business and does manage the business on a day-to-day basis and makes all the decisions. A lot of times that can trick people up when they try to use a operating agreement that's just kind of generic. Sometimes that operating agreement will give the power to the board and not to the individual who's applying. So just little things like that we would look for that would make the eligibility not authentic.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. If there's any other questions, I'm getting text messages from people as well as, this chat. And so I want to say thank you. But if there's any other questions that you have, please post it in. Before we conclude, I'm going to have each of our guest presenters share, a final thought, a final insight for taking it to the next level. And before we do, though, I do want to have the opportunity for you to have each one of their email addresses, because I think it's very important that, as we heard, it's not about just coming and listening to this, this program. It's about what do you do next, right? And that's what we really are encouraging you to do. Reach out to Dr. Inga, reach out to Lisa, reach out to Stephen, reach out to Mark, because it makes a difference. They have really given up their time, and time is our most precious commodity. And so I'm going to put up on the screen each one of their emails. And we'll start off with Dr. Inga. You can see her email contact is P31 propnvllc@gmail.com. That's one of her colleagues, her teammates, to actually go ahead and schedule a time with you to really talk more about accessing the capital, accessing funding, right? As well as, getting your business set up as far as, the business credit line. And so she would be more than happy to share more about that. Remember, if we knew better, we'd do better. And I'm real clear that, a lot of times, we just don't have access to information. And that's why, on behalf of Commissioner Leaks Small Business Consortium, we are facilitating this virtual event because we want to share these resources are here. But now it's time for us to do our part. And so that's number one. Number two, would love for you to also connect with Lisa, right? And Lisa, as you know, is at the NCDOT, the BOWD unit, right? And that's BOWD at ncdot.gov. And you can see that Lisa's very passionate. She and her team are really doing some phenomenal things. And so we want you to reach out to her. And then number three is Stephen Coker. And Stephen, again, having worked with, many of his team members at CBI, Charlotte Business Inclusion, really phenomenal team. And, as he said, the early bird program is there for you. And so you want to go ahead and be connected, right? There's no such thing as a dumb question. And, my mom used to say, you're only a dummy if you don't ask it. And so I want you to think about that. We can sit back and say, oh, I don't want to ask this question. But listen, you'll never know unless you ask. And so please take us up on this. And then our kickoff presenter, as you know, Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart with Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development. And there's his email address on the screen. So I wanted to give you all four of our presenters' emails because I think it's very important. And one of the things that is really exciting is I'd like to hear from you as far as, what did you enjoy about today? Did you like it? First of all, was it worth your time? I just want to hear from you. And many of you who are watching have my cell phone number. You can text me as well, and I'll make sure to count you and include you in. But type in the chat box, what did you enjoy? What's your takeaway? What's one of your commitments? See, nothing happens unless we take action. And that's the key. But remember this, faith and fear can't operate at the same time. You got to take action. because so that's really the power of what we've done today. So with that, I want to go ahead and I want to give each of our phenomenal presenters an opportunity to share one of their concluding insights or suggestions for taking it to the next level. And we'll start ladies first, okay? I'll go Dr. Inga, and then I'm going to go Lisa, and then we'll do Stephen, and then we'll conclude with Mark. Okay, so Dr. Inga, what's any of your, we have aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, all over the United States, predominantly here in North Carolina, but we do have others, in other states. So I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, Dr. Inga, what is your charge? What are some, final thoughts that you want to share with our viewers?
Sure. Thank you again for the opportunity. I really would encourage all of you to schedule a consultation so that we could really look at money, capital to scale, to start to scale and grow. And so we would love to be able to take some moments to look at your portfolio and share some strategies with you so that you'll always be in a position to have access to working capital.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Inga. Really appreciate your time and, you just being willing to share. Lisa, what about yourself? What do you feel? What would you like to share with our viewers, our aspiring entrepreneurs, our business owners, as far as some, moving forward? What's your thoughts?
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I would like to just remind everyone what's going on a federal level with the infrastructure bill. There's going to be billions of dollars coming down for highways, bridges, rail, water, high-speed internet, all types of opportunities for small businesses to get involved. And just remember that we're here for you. We are a resource here for you to help you be more successful. And we welcome the opportunity to assist you in getting some of those billions of dollars that are coming our way. So just remember, to contact us and we'll help you in whatever way we can.
Wow. Thank you, Lisa. And thanks for making it real. I mean, that is, it's coming down. It's coming down the pipeline, right? And so you want to be positioned. And remember also, getting to a yes, November 18th. And again, you can send it to BOWD at ncdot.gov, okay, for more information. So thank you. I mean, that's exciting, right? Again, it's not about being a spectator, it's about being in the game on the playing field. So thank you. Stephen Coker, with the city, and you showed us, pictures of your team. It's very exciting, and we'd love to hear from you. For our aspiring entrepreneurs, our business owners, what are some thoughts, words of wisdom that you'd like to share with them?
Thank you, Marlon. First of all, I want to thank you for, again, providing me this opportunity to speak with your audience. You said something that stuck out that I think they should pay close attention to when they look at their daily action, and that's constant and never-ending improvement. I am here as a conduit from the city of Charlotte. Again, $1.5 billion in annual spend. And the only way we can connect that to your business is getting to know who you are, getting you certified, and then providing that opportunity based on what it is that you do. I'm available. I expect to see an email or even a phone call from all of you, and I'm going to make sure that I keep to my word to make sure that we provide you some value, whether it's a contract on the end or even some of the many resources the Charlotte Business Program has to offer. But again, thank you all for being here, and I look forward to working with you.
Wow. Thank you, Stephen. Really appreciate that. And closing out is Mark Stewart. And, Mark, really thank you. You've been a friend for a number of years, and just very grateful to know you and to know that, you'll go anywhere. You'll meet people at their home office, at their business office, at the library. You'll meet people and you'll meet them, and you travel all throughout the county and having appointments. And so, Mark, I'd like for you to go ahead and share with us, what are some of your thoughts? What are some of the next steps? Any final thoughts that you have with our viewers?
First thing I want to do is the vet that needed assistance. If you contact the Military Business Center, they're out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fort Bragg. So the North Carolina Small Business Center, the SBTDC, they all know this agency. They're pretty prominent and very strong in assisting veterans. So the Military Business Center out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you need that contact information, let me know. If you type in the North Carolina Military Business Center, they'll come right up in Google. But I want to finish with this: beat your own drum. What does that mean? You remember that movie from Drumline when the other drummer played the other drummer's drum and the other drummer got angry because he touched the other person's drum? You should feel that way about your business.
Hmm.
You got to beat your own drum to create your own music, to create your own path, to create your own beat and your own sound. We as consultants, working with Mecklenburg County, working with the city of Charlotte, Dr. Inga, Lisa with the DOT, state of North Carolina, we're beating our drum so that you can hear, so that we can give you a voice. And we're hoping that you take some of our beats and repeat them so that you can grow your business and grow your success so that you beat your own drum with the power and influence that you have as entrepreneurs. The greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, you can go multiple directions. Any direction you choose, you can go. But the key point of it is that growth has to have a direction and a path. And our job is to give you maps, to give you resources, and to give you tools. You got to reach out to us, reach out to Inga, learn about money. The number one thing you got to have is a business is money, how to use money. Money costs money, it costs money. To run a business costs money. Listen to the key word, money. So you learn how to do it. Next, with the contracting opportunities, whether it's through Mecklenburg County, and contacting Jamelia Davis through Mecklenburg County, or contacting Steve, contacting Lisa, you got to understand that the opportunities are there. Just because you get one no, or because something doesn't work out the way you want to, doesn't give you the right to stop when you have your family members depending on your business, you have yourself depending on your business, and you have your community depending on your business. So failure is not an option. Just because you get a stumble doesn't give you the right to quit. You keep moving and you keep striving till you get the yes, because failure is not an option.
I love it, man. Failure is not an option. And remember, for all of you, I'm so excited because on behalf of Commissioner Velma Leak, Small Business Consortium, our time has flown by. And we're at the top of the hour, and I want to be respectful of time. Just want to let you know that you have been blessed. You've been inspired and empowered by 4 phenomenal individuals that have resources, have different information to share with you. So please, we've posted their emails on the screen. We will definitely go ahead and follow up. We're going to send you the recording. If you want to share with other business colleagues or other entrepreneurs, business owners, feel free. You can forward this on. This is information. We're committed to all of us rising up, all of us growing and developing. And so I want to say thank you. And so with that, I want to say this: Small Business Consortium, if you're interested in learning more about what we're doing, we have programs like this, as you can see. We also have a Mentor Me program that Felice Britt Hightower and Alicia Brooks are running. It's a mentoring program, and it's phenomenal. And that's where, again, seasoned business owners basically mentor and coach other businesses, maybe startups or individuals that are, maybe a couple years under their belt, to help them take it to the next level. So we have that as a resource, as well as other things. But I love for you just to understand that what you do today will dictate where you'll be tomorrow. And so before we conclude, I wanted to just have all 4 speakers please stay in the green room. We want to bring you up on the stage just to say thank you. But I wanted to say to our viewers, listen, there's greatness within you. Remember this: what has happened in the past is gone. You can't change it. The past is history. And the future, it's always out there. It's a mystery. So all we have is this moment right here and now. That's why they call it present, because it's a gift. It's now time for you to take action and connect with these phenomenal resources, because what you do today will dictate where you'll be tomorrow. In closing, remember this: Small Business Consortium. You can go to our website page, smallbizconsortium.com. And there's the website link right there. So feel free to visit us, see what we're doing. We share additional information. But in closing, I want you to remember this. On behalf of Commissioner Velma Leak Small Business Consortium and our team, we say thank you. And remember this quote: a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision with action can change the world. I am Marlon Smith, reminding you there's greatness within you. Live with purpose, because your success is your choice. Thank you.